Oh hell, I'm gonna start acting up right when I push go live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Crime Center. I'm going live. I think this is the second time that I've ever gone live. I am trying to break out of my comfort zone and do stuff like this more often. I don't really have anything like solidly planned. I know I've heard a lot of death row cases lately and a bunch of other crimes that have happened around me. I just kind of wanted to look it up just to confirm facts, talk about them, see if anybody wants to jump on here and we could talk about it together. So first off, let me say I don't know if anybody's even going to come on here, which is why I never go live. I don't know if anybody wants to see me go live. I know a lot of people enjoy my videos. I got quite a bit of subscribers. So I just wanted to come on here and I'm just going to talk. I'm just going to talk about the things that I saw that I want to talk about. And if anybody comes on here and they ask questions, then, I'll break away from that and answer the questions. But overall, I'm just going to be talking about these crimes and see what happens. So one of the first things I wanted to talk about was Alabama and Texas. They are the ones that have recently had people that they've put down. And from right here, what it says, I'm just going to read this little article and then we could talk about it. The United States executed 2 death row inmates on Thursday evening, one in Alabama and the other in Texas, during a year that has seen an uptick in inmates being put to death. Geoffrey Todd West, 50, died by nitrogen hypoxia at the William C. Holman Correctional Facility in Atmore, located near the Alabama border along the Florida Panhandle, for the 1997 murder of 33-year-old Margaret Parrish Berry. I know I've done a video on this guy called Eugene Smith. I can't remember his first name. But a pastor had hired him to take out his wife. Him and another buddy did it. Well, the pastor hired a certain individual. That certain individual hired Eugene Smith and another guy to actually do the work, right? And they went and they did it. I think they got like $1,000 or something like that. Even way back then, it wasn't like a whole bunch of money to take somebody's life. And, he was on death row forever. They finally put him down, and he was the first one to be using the method of the hypoxia thing, which you just don't breathe any oxygen. It's just all hydrogen, I believe. Let me check that out. I don't want to just say stuff. I want to know that I'm telling you all the correct things. They just breathe a whole bunch of nitrogen. So basically, they're just starving the brain, and they go down. I don't know if that's kind of like suffocating, since you're being forced hydrogen instead of oxygen. I don't know. It doesn't sound very good way to actually go. But what can you expect when you do stuff like taking another person's life, I think the people who get put to death row have it a lot better than the actual victims, because at least you've had years and years to fight the case and hope to get away with it. And then even then, you've had years and years to be at peace with it. Like, it's coming. There's nothing you can do about it. You're at peace. And if you want to try to make it right with your creator, you can do that. But whenever they caused the deaths of innocent people, they didn't get all that. They didn't get to say a last prayer. They didn't get to be ready to go. They didn't get to fight that not happening to them. They took it upon themselves to do this to innocent people and give them absolutely no choice in the matter. So that they even get a choice is already more than they deserve. In Texas, The state executed 35-year-old Blaine Millam for the December 2008 assault and murder of his fiance's 13-month-old daughter, Amora Bain Carson. With these executions, the United States has put away 33 death row inmates this year, the most since 35 capital punishment sentences were carried out in 2014, and continuing a trend of increasing executions from a low of 11 during 2021. But I think the more reason for that being the lowest in 2021 was COVID and all that stuff, the effects of all that still going around. Because I believe I had heard a lot more people would have been put down had it not been for COVID and all the stuff that came with that. So for Jeffrey Todd West, Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall had cleared the execution to commence at 6 p.m. West was pronounced dead at 6:22 p.m. There is no doubt or dispute over the facts of this case, but thanks to legal gamemanship, justice has been delayed for 26 years, which just goes into what I was just saying. Like, they have years and years to try to get away with this with some loophole, right? If justice was served quickly to avenge the innocent people being hurt, it wouldn't take them 26 years. It wouldn't take them 10 years. But since there's so many loopholes that you can try to expose, that's why it takes so long. The jury voted that the appropriate sentence was death. West died by nitrogen hypoxia, one of two methods in the state which deprives the brain of oxygen by forcing inmates to breathe only nitrogen. It's exactly what I figured it did. They're just starving their brain of oxygen. And what happens when your brain doesn't have oxygen? Just like somebody who gets CPR. If their brain's been without oxygen for so long, it's too late. Only 6 people have been executed by this method since Alabama put down Kenneth Eugene Smith. That's who I was just talking about. His first name is Kenneth. With nitrogen gas in January of last year, Louisiana is the only other U.S. state that has actually used this method of execution. It's new. Not that many people have been put to death with that. And even then, only, 2 states are using it? His death, however, comes despite Will Berry, the son of West's victim, calling for clemency and asking to be permitted a relationship with the man who took his mother. I don't know if that's a guy who's just really forgiving or a guy that is so mentally hurt that he does this. I wouldn't want to be friends with the person who took my mother. Ever, at all. I want justice to be served and I want you gone. The criminal justice system is not built with victims' needs, wishes, and well-being in mind, he wrote. I know that as well as anybody because what is being done in my name is not what I need or I want. I don't feel like they're doing it in your name, buddy. They're doing that in your mother's name. And how do you know your mother wouldn't want this if she had knew ahead of time that somebody was gonna take her life without permission? So you might be the son and you may not want that. Your mother may be ahead. I know if somebody took my life without my permission, all of a sudden, just because they felt like it, I want them to get the death penalty. It's very simple. Let me see something right quick. What is this? I don't even know where my chat's at. Do I even have a chat? Does it just pop up on the screen or? I don't know. No, I don't need none of that. Stop it. What is this? Guys, I'm just pushing buttons right now. Oh, hell. I don't know what any of this stuff is for, so I'm just playing with it. But I have no idea where the chat's supposed to pop up. I have no idea how I know people even liked my stuff or even seen it to begin with. I don't know. So anyways, this lady's son, the heck was that? Sorry, I guess that's some of the bad things about going live, right? Whatever happens, happens. Okay, let's see what this guy has to say. He's still talking right here. In a recent co-op ed published in the Alabama Reflector, Will Berry, who was 11 when his mother... See, he wasn't even old enough to know if that's what he wanted or not. Margaret Parrish Berry was killed by West. Said executing her murder will not bring my mother back. It will only add to the pain I have lived with since the night she was shot. On Tuesday, from the steps of Alabama State Capitol during a rally, he called for the deaths to end. I don't want this man to die. Vengeance is not for the state, it's for the Lord, he said. Forgiveness is a commandment for us. But the Bible also says to follow the laws of the land, and that those who are put in positions are put there by God, whether people like it or not. So these people that are in power right now, appointed by God, made the rules that you don't just take somebody's life, and that's the punishment for taking somebody's life. So yes, God says to forgive, but he also says follow the laws of the land, so he doesn't really know what he's talking about. According to court documents, West is accused of killing Berry either during the late hours of March 27, 1997, or early March 28. They don't really know, I guess. That night, West and his then-girlfriend drove to Harold's Chevron gas station, where he previously worked in Etowah County. The court documents state he had told others he planned to rob the place and leave no witnesses. Armed with a .45, he entered the store, pointed the weapon at Berry as he took $250 from a cookie can he knew the store kept its money in. The court documents state he fatally shot Berry in the back of the head during the robbery. Following his conviction, a jury voted 10-2 in favor of the death penalty. So he didn't even have the balls to look her in the face and do it. He waited till she turned around. And he took money. He could have took that money and left. That was it. That would have been the end of it. But the coward instead decided to shoot her with her back turned. I don't know what's wrong with this guy. I don't know if he's a bleeding heart liberal or what it is, but no, most of us are going to say the correct thing. Like he needs to pay for his crime. That's the payment for his crime. With his final statement, the 35-year-old thanked Louisiana, all those who showed him kindness, compassion, empathy, love, and support for believing in me. But he showed none of that to the woman's life he took. Thank you for everything that y'all done. I would also like to thank the directors of TDCJ for opening up the faith-based program on death row and allow me to be accepted into find Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior. And I get that. You started a relationship with the Lord. You asked for forgiveness. God forgave you. But just because you ask God for forgiveness doesn't mean you're not going to pay for the penalties that the law of the land has. That's just what it is. So I'm glad he asked for forgiveness. I hope he was sincere and really got forgiveness. And hopefully he's with the Lord now. It all depends on what you really think in your heart. You could tell anybody whatever you want, but when you're in front of God, that's another story. And if any of you would like to see me again, I implore all of you, no matter who you are, accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, and we will meet again. I love you all. Bring me home, Jesus. Amen, right? Milam and his then fiancée, Jessica Bain Carson, killed her daughter while trying to exorcise a demon from her body. They were both 18 at the time. This sounds more like a mental illness type thing, but who knows? He and Carson told police they had left the child at home for an hour and came back to find her deceased and covered with bruises. The autopsy found the child died from multiple blunt force injuries and possible strangulation. She had facial abrasions, bruises, and 24 human bite marks, among other things. I take that back. It's not mental illness, it was done on purpose. You don't get beat and done like that unless somebody actually really intends to do that type of stuff to you. That ain't no demons. Everybody thinks they could just go say, oh, the devil told me to do it, and they ain't got to worry about nothing. And I'm glad they saw right through that. However, Carson later admitted that over a period of 30 hours, they subjected the child to torture in an attempt to exorcise a demon they claimed lived within the girl. Now, you said it right the first time. You're throwing the demon stuff in there so you can look crazy and try to get away with it. Carson was convicted of capital murder for her role in the crime and sentenced to life without the possibility of parole, according to court documents. Milam was convicted of murder May 2010 and was sentenced to death. That's another thing that I don't get, and I don't agree with it. You got a man and a female, right? The female was the actual mother. The man, I don't know if that was her real father or stepfather. They both did the same exact thing. So why does the man get the death penalty, but the woman gets life in prison without parole? And that goes for all kinds of cases. That could be other cases against children, stuff like that. It's the same thing. You can go and see all these female teachers committing these crimes, and they get a slap on the wrist, very rarely get any type of real prison time and probation. A guy with the same exact crimes will go to prison for damn near the rest of his life. If that woman admitted to doing that, to exorcise a demon, she knew what she was doing, just like the man knew what he was doing. They both committed that crime, and they both should have got the same thing. That's where the justice system is flawed. They're not fair. I mean, I know you might want to look as a woman is a little bit more fragile. They're not as strong as men, so you feel more sorry for them. But if somebody takes a child, women being super smart and thinking about things should also get punished the way a man would, who usually acts off of a whim. They'll do it, and a lot won't think about what they're doing until later. A woman will sit there and actually contemplate everything she's doing, think about it and all the possibilities, and yet she didn't get executed. But the guy did, and I don't know how they try to justify that. It's not justifiable. I think they both deserve the same thing. But anyways, he's the only one who got it, and he was executed. She's spending the rest of her life in prison. But the one thing everybody forgets is that poor child is no longer here. Her life was taken way before her time. She never got to live out hopes, dreams, none of that. Everything was cut short, and that was it. It was over. And I feel bad about that. I feel bad for any child that has to go through that. Another thing we could talk about is if you go and you look back at all my old videos, I did a bunch of videos on exactly what I was just talking about. These people, females, are in a position of trust. If you look at a teacher, you think of teachers as nice, maybe strict in the sense that they're going to make sure you do your work and don't get in trouble. These are trustworthy people, correct? That's the way I've always looked at teachers. Nowadays, you have teachers violating younger boys. You have teachers that are shoving their own personal political beliefs on people. You have teachers that are trying to force LGBTQ stuff into schools. School should be exactly what it's always been. Nothing political. Do your work. Make your friends. And that's it. I don't know where they started bringing in all this crazy stuff, But they need to stop, honestly. Like, they really do. You know, the one way you can get that to happen, go vote. I think Texas has been a Republican state for since 1994 or something like that. So if you look at the way everything's going, people from Democratic run states are all leaving to go to Florida or Texas because the way Democrats run things, they mess that state up. So what good does it do if you're trying to escape there and you go to a place that's better and you go to a place that's Republican, but when it comes time for voting, you vote Democrat? You're doing the same thing to what you did to your last state, and it's not fair. Look at the way Texas has been. Every place has its flaws, just like Texas has its flaws. But they also invented a great place to live. You don't have to worry about stuff. They're hard on crime. They're not soft on crime where people could just run around and do whatever they want, and it's a great state. Don't ruin that. Don't try to bring what you ran from over here, right? And a lot of these teachers are like that. They have their own political beliefs. They try to push it on everybody. They know that kids don't really know what to think yet, so they try to mold and shape them to think exactly what they want them to believe. And those same ones try to violate those same children. And then they get small sentences, a little slap on the wrist, no time at all. And these are teachers that would have been teacher of the year. They're such a good person, yet they're violating these boys. And a lot of people think that that's okay because he's a boy and they're a female. That's the same thing as if a male did that to a little girl. Are you going to celebrate that? Are you going to be happy? Like, hey, she got with a grown guy. What does it matter? Because that's exactly how it sounds whenever you say, "Oh, it was the boy. She's a good chick. I'm happy for him." It's a crime. I don't care how anybody looks at it. If you're with somebody underage, it's a crime. It doesn't matter what you say you are, male, female, whatever else people call themselves nowadays. It's not right. Leave the children alone. Let them grow up. Let them figure out stuff on their own. Let them form their own beliefs. Just leave them alone. And then we have that one thing. This lady, I did a video on it. She didn't even live in San Antonio. She drove like down from the valley or somewhere all the way up here to San Antonio. She was caught next to a burning car. Another lady asked her, "Hey, are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, I already called the cops. They're on their way." But the lady was like, "I'm going to call the cops anyway," so she did. Turns out that woman had never called the cops. She was standing there watching that car burn, and in that car was her 2 children. She got arrested. She's being charged with capital murder ×2. And we're going to see what happens. She's already trying to play the little crazy role. She's already trying to play that, "Oh, I'm just a girl." It's not right, man. I think if they started treating male and female exactly the same when it came to crime, people would stop doing some of the stuff they do, especially females. For some reason, they feel like they could just I'm a girl their way out of the situation. I don't know. But can you believe a lady doing this to her kids? Like, as a mother, you're supposed to be the most trusted in that family. Kids are always supposed to be able to run to their mother, trust their mother. She's supposed to protect. Not the same protect as a man. A man will protect. The mother will love and coddle and protect their feelings and emotions. A man will physically protect them. But whenever you think you have somebody you could always run to, no matter how embarrassing something might be, you always think of your mother. So for a mother to do that to her children is horrible. And of course, it's alleged and all that, but it was pretty cut and dry. She did it, right? And it just makes me feel bad. There's just so much crime going around, so many executions lately, so many crimes, stuff that doesn't even matter. Like, and there's no excuse. You're broke and hungry, go get a job. You can't get a job, find something else to do. Go pick up trash, talk to somebody, cut grass, do anything. There's never an excuse for going and committing a crime. That's selling drugs, robbing people, robbing convenience store like nothing. There's no excuse. Don't do it. There's no way to justify it. But, you know, I think this is the second time, like I said, that I've gone live. And I've never really wanted to go live much because I know sometimes nobody even comes into my live thing. And I don't know if they just don't see my notification that I'm live, or if I don't have enough subscribers yet, or I don't know what the deal is, right? But I can tell y'all, if I actually start getting people in here and have my subscribers come and support me while I'm doing a live, we could sit here, we could talk just like I've been doing. I could answer all y'all's questions, and we could just have a chill time. It's basically all I want to do. I just want to get to know everybody who subscribes to me, and we could just talk about things. It's just fun, you know? Like I said, I've never done it before, but I'm willing to do it. Get in the comments whether you came late or the video's already finished. Tell me in the comments, is that something y'all want to do? You could give me ideas. You could tell me what you want to talk about, and we'll talk about it. I ain't got no problem with that, right? But I'm just going to do a little short one. What is this, like going on 27 minutes? So it's about a 30-minute little live. When I actually have people come in here and we talk and all that kind of stuff, I'll go a lot longer. There's only so much I could do talking to myself, you know? And whoever sees this, I hope y'all somewhat enjoy the video. If you have comments or you have suggestions or just whatever you want, just let me know. I answer everybody back. And I will always answer everybody back. I know a lot of people get bigger, get a lot more subscribers, and they change it up. I'm not going to do that. I'll figure out a way to talk to everybody because I want to have a real, honest relationship with everybody who supports me, because I never thought anybody would. And yet here I am, right around 300 subscribers. Might not seem like a lot to people, but 300 subscribers, that's 300 people from all over different places in the world that like my videos. I never thought anybody would like them. And there's a lot of things I can do to get better. I got one of them already on the way. I'm getting a new computer. I'll be able to do a whole bunch of stuff. The one I got now is just trash. It's not strong enough to do a lot of things. So when I see almost 300 people are supporting me, you know, that gives me hope, because this is something that I really want to do. And I don't care about the fame. As you can see, I don't care about being famous. I just care about getting my story out there to a lot of people, meeting a lot of people. It's just fun. So all you out there who watch this, support me. Hit the like, subscribe, notification bell, so whenever I have a new video, you'll be notified, you know? Hit the like, because the like's free, but it helps my videos do better. And that's my payment, just knowing that I'm doing good. And then, of course, subscribe. That's how we start this whole community. We start this whole thing. What is it? Crime Center 24/7? But Crime Center Junkies, whatever. If y'all got a good name for a community, let me know. And whichever one sounds cool and sticks, that's the one we'll be going to. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Until next time, like always, stay tuned.